employees that are compensated and supported based on doing better or making your customers happier. Which is why it's so fun to start with salespeople and customer support people. The minute we started telling them how well they were doing, they started doing little micro experiments. And when we changed it, so we started doing weekly instead of monthly predictions, in the middle of the week they could do things differently, and the next week see if they did better. But they feel like they own it because they designed it, because from day one it was providing value. As opposed to saying, hey, let's roll out Salesforce. I'm going to input all this data about who I talk to, and then maybe 6 months later, when a data scientist can get to it, you guys have 100 data scientists? That's 30 times more than any other company I've talked to in the US. That's amazing. But a lot of companies don't have that. In our case, employees actually got promoted because they were doing much better than the companies thought. There were a lot of employees that actually were wizards, were amazing at keeping customers or at adding revenue to existing customers. So what this did is, in a matter of 1 quarter, it got the entire company to be able to quantify and think about it in a structured way. How do you value keeping a customer longer? Valuing retention is actually a very difficult thing to do, because usually it's done from the top down. This way, the brokers themselves, the people talking to customers every day, themselves cared more and more about retaining customers. What's cool here too, actually, is whatever, I'll talk about that later. But the important thing here is that this was a pretty quick approach, and without actually building technology. I mean, at the end of the first quarter, I was still sending out the emails by hand once a week. I had 15 data scientists working on the actual technology, but I was just sending everything out by hand so I could change things to be best. They had a 2x return on investment, and this is the big one. They had a 6.5% lift in quarterly revenue, which is insane. This is the crazy number here, is that we were right about our predictions in terms of who is going to churn. You guys have a very good retention model I was hearing in your presentation from Nick의, which is very cool. I'm not saying we're even going to beat that, but the process itself was effective at retaining 80% of customers that were likely to churn. These are customers that are 60, 70, 80% likely to churn next month. They were going to leave, but we got them to stay. Why is this working so well? What's cool about this is, I did not get this at the time, but understanding the value of this sort of game we were building, this process of caring about customers in a structured way, and feeling like you could change the system, kept getting better. I thought this was going to go down. Didn't. The next quarter, which ended a month ago, I guess, 10x return on investment, that just means we're undercharging. I'm done. So I'm a bad business leader. But this is just cool. 11% lift in quarterly revenue, just from retaining customers and upselling. Retention of at-risk customers. These are the kind of numbers that you're getting promised by all the people that are selling you $10 million a year packages, where you would spend, $5 million on external data. You spend another $5 million on ads on Google and Facebook to figure out in real time who is having a life event. We used to talk about life events problem. You really don't need to do that. These results are achieved, honestly, we're 75 to 80% accurate, determining who's going to churn in the next 60 days. I could flip a coin, and I would still provide a lift in revenue. If I just sent out a list of customers that I'm completely making up who's going to churn, this company would probably make a lot more money. Because what would end up happening is we'd start with a model that was completely unpredictable, but at least they were calling more customers, right? As opposed to trying and hunting for new business all the time. They would then learn more about their customers. They would talk to each other, try to sell something to their existing customers, or lower the rate, which is what you do a lot, with this method of prediction, you can realize, hey, if I lower the price, but they're likely to stay 2 years more, I make more money, and the customer's a lot happier. So this gives you a reason to lower prices, much like Costco, which is kind of cool. But you end up with a system where the brokers are entering real data in, and you're building a machine learning model in real time that the fitness function is actually, when should my brokers reach out to a customer? It has almost nothing to do with historical data, although it's very important to start. But later it gets very powerful. All right, so this was a while. This was a 2-year-long process with them, because honestly, we're a startup and we didn't know what we were selling. Just we knew how to do things. Here's where we realized we actually got. Pre-shopping churn behaviors. I believe in this and things outside churn too, customer acquisition and upselling and all the things you do. But if we keep building an economy that is based on paying money to find out if someone is getting married or having a kid or getting fired right now, that's all going to go into customer acquisition, and it's all going to be just wasted money. It's just an arms race every year to get a 1% edge. It's ridiculous. And when you're a credit, like specifically a credit card, in our case is insurance. You're selling insurance. You're not competing with other insurance providers. You're competing with banks. You're competing with credit cards. You're competing with boats. You're competing with private jets. You're competing with workers' compensation. You're competing with Apple laptops. All the things that you have to spend money on as a business. It's attention you're fighting against. And so I think we need to do a little bit better. I think what you need to know as a business is when someone is likely to change their behavior. So you need to reach out. And to do that, you can do it without all the crazy external data that tells you what's going on right now. You have to use your own business's intuition and your own people and build a process. If you can, the other big thing we learned, if you can actually accurately predict how long someone stays a customer, you can then optimize customer acquisition and everything else you do based on how that would change the customer's lifetime value. So in our case, it's not just, hey, you should prioritize customers that are like this because they stay for 5 years. It's more, you could sell that this customer is likely to buy marine liability insurance and fire damage insurance. But if you sell the marine, they're likely to stay a customer for 5 years longer instead of 4 years longer, which is really interesting. We call this dynamic lifetime value. And then in general, we thrive when it's a problem of humans are doing good work, but they need to prioritize their time and especially their creativity. I think any system that involves customers is trying to get humans completely out of the loop, especially the creative loop, is actually making a big mistake. As I just showed you, I have a math that proves I can have an algorithm that's 10% accurate, and they would have made $5 million or something like that. We're not. It's 75% accurate, so they make more than that, but not everything is about accuracy. It's about the system. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so in my last 13 minutes, I want to have questions too. So we made a lot of mistakes throughout this process. We learned a lot, mostly mistakes though. And so now there are 6 or 7 questions that I ask in order when going into a company and thinking about how to operationalize a model, if you will. But really it's about how do I solve a problem with AI and with people. There's an order I do it in now so I don't miss anything. Because I just had a customer I tried to fire. I call them up and say, hey, we cannot be predictive with your data. We'll be 20% accurate, and maybe you're going to spend more money on us than you're going to make. It's just not worth it for you. And anyone who tries to come in and sell you what we do, you should say no because they're wrong. You're going to waste money. And then this is when I got schooled, and I should have known better because I'm supposed to be a teacher of entrepreneurship, and this is the first thing I tell you to do. It's know what your customer wants to actually pay for. What do they actually care about? They said, Nick, look, I don't care how accurate you are. I'm trying to solve a behavior change problem. I want my brokers to act differently. I want them to care more about the customers. I saw what you did at Willis Towers Watson. I want that. I just want them to think differently, and the results will come. If a year and a half from now, finally it's more predictive, cool. But I need them to start acting differently today. And he thinks we can do it with predictions. I think he may be disappointed because if we start making bad predictions and start seeing bad predictions every day, they're not going to trust us. But at least now I understand what he wants and I can work towards that. Okay. First, obviously, this seems like a pretty stupid question, but we don't ask it enough. What is the prediction specifically? I say this, so in Willis Towers Watson's case, it was which SME accounts are going to churn in the next 60 days. That is very different than when a customer signs up, how long do I think they're going to stay a customer? So a survival model, a retention model. That's very different from next week, who's going to churn. It's very different from I'm buying an ad, I want to know what to pay for the ad. So on average, what's the customer lifetime value, or how long is that customer of this demographic of customer? All very different. Specifically, this implies a way of building an algorithm and the kind of data and people in operation you need to actually take advantage of. And 60 days, by the way, that comes directly from the brokers. It's just, how many days in advance do you want a prediction? If they say 30, we can't be accurate, we stop. We say, look, we can't solve that problem for you. We can't do 30. They say, well, it's got to be 30 because of all these issues, usually around how they're paid. So bonuses. We have to stop and find a slightly different problem. You have the right data to create the prediction. Okay? This is a big one. So, I don't want to use that example. In our case, we use transaction data, anonymized transaction data, right? It's the first data that's usually organized in any company, and it's fine to be anonymized. It's just customer number, paid for this thing on this date. And then maybe they added this other product, they did things. It's just purely a transaction record. When we first started the company, we actually did big online retail, so West Elm and Zipcar. What we sold to them was, you've got hundreds of millions of customers that you've sold to in the past, but they haven't bought for a long time, 6 months to a year, 2 years, 3 years. We can tell you which customers will come back. And they're like, oh my God. And like, we're like, yes, you should pay us $10 million because there's at least $50 million in sales here. And they say, okay, that's cool. Everything about it seems like a really good idea. Here's why it's a bad idea. The data you need to make a prediction of how to get a customer back, you need to know who has bought something in the past, and you need to know the offer they responded to, which means an email, a text, a billboard, an ad on TV. That's usually in a marketing department, or maybe it's another department. So I need 2 departments to agree to give me data in order to build a model. I do not want to be in business where I have to get 2 departments to give me data. They'll start fighting, first of all, and they'll never agree on what the actual prediction should be, and I have to ask for more favors. I don't like that. So the data has to be available and easy to get. The coolest thing I think about AI, what that AI lets you do actually, is modern techniques like deep learning, is to use cheaper, worse, easier data to get the same level of accuracy. In our case, our innovation was getting predictive just on transaction data. But you can do that in a lot of other places. If you have the right operation to use the prediction, in this case, right? SME, 60 days in advance, you need to know. But not a lot, some organizations, so we have a new customer, the standard, they can't work with anything less than 6 months because the people in the operation that would actually use the predictions, the closest to the customer, are underwriters. Underwriters are slow and insane and highly regulated. I like them a lot, but they are hard to work with. Completely different from Willis. Different model completely. Not until I have, defining the actual prediction, defining the data that I can use to actually make it. Does it exist? Can you actually use it? You'll notice at this point I haven't once asked how accurate can I be. That is not where I start. The next thing is, can I build a model that generates a prediction at all? Not is it 80% accurate, is it 90% accurate, is it 99% accurate? It's, can I even build a model that is predictive at all? Often it's not true. Cool. I actually do this one next now. So in the last 2 weeks I've changed my entire business, I guess. Once I'm predictive, can I actually create enough value from that prediction to have a strong business case? Right? That's a big one. After all this, I know the prediction can be used because the operation can use it. You have the people in place. They're paid in the right, it's a big one, they're paid in the right way to care about customer acquisition or retention, for example. Can I actually deliver the value? And in this case, it's one, can they make money off it, but can I actually make a product that delivers it? In Will Stars Watson, that was I built the email thing. And I answered the question, can I deliver value by making that email? I didn't say, yes, I can, until they actually used the email. If they didn't use the email, I was fully prepared to do something else. I was going to text them. I was going to call them. I was prepared to hire someone to be a virtual assistant that they could talk to every morning and say, what should I do today? And that person was going to be very nice and enjoyable on the phone and have a cool accent. Luckily, I never got there, stopped with the email. But that's my point, is the whole point of this framework is that if you ever say no, you stop and you have to go backwards. And then the next one, this is a big one. This is how you understand how AI is changing your business. The two questions I like to ask. I don't like benefit anymore necessarily, but what's the benefit of being right? So a correct prediction. So you can have two extreme examples. If I'm buying Facebook ads, the value of being right means someone clicks on the ad and buys something from me. It's very common in digital marketing, right? It's effectively customer acquisition. It's not customer acquisition costs, it's average order volume or something like that. What is the cost of being wrong? In the case of a Facebook ad, the cost of being wrong, as in I show the ad to that person and they don't click on it, it's a very low cost. It's just not a big deal, right? So anything you build, you usually optimize it for covering the maximum number of people that are likely to buy. And then I'm like, oh, I miss these people, that's fine. But you have to understand these costs. Now, let's take the opposite example. One of our customers sells these. They also make them. I can't say their name because they sign weird contracts, but there's only 3 companies and it's one of them. So you could probably Google. So they sell these and they're very pretty. I got to go on one last week. I didn't fly it, it had no wings, but it's very pretty on the inside. Now, when they find someone they think is likely to buy an airplane, what do? They do something really cool. They go on a test, like you're buying a car, a test flight. Now this test flight is actually even more expensive and more complicated than it sounds. They work with whoever's going to buy the plane, like the CEO, to actually, they want to work into their everyday day. So they go on a business trip with this person, which could be 2 or 3 days. That's a $150,000 spend right there, in jet fuel and people and time. So making a prediction saying this person is likely to buy a jet and being wrong is $150,000 of being wrong. That's a lot of money. It's very, very bad. The cost of being right, the value of being right is not that much higher. A salesperson may only make $100,000, $150,000. Notice that's basically the same as the cost, right? So if you're only 50% right, you are worthless, okay? That's important. You could work, and we actually had it. We had 10 data scientists working on this problem for 2 years. And it took them 2 years to get to 70% right. Luckily, this company wasn't really paying for us to be right. They're paying for AI, right? And they wanted to hang out with us. Now, it's 2 years in, they make money. Okay. And I got a minute and a half now, more questions. The last one is, can you scale the value of it? We learned to deliver the value via this interface. We figured out this is how people work. Can you scale it up to more of the organization? Can you take learnings from one part of the org and bring it to another? Often you can, because even within one company, you may have these 10 people that work this way, and these 10 people that work the other. Just because the predictions will work over here, doesn't mean the culture will work. So you gotta be careful getting these projects that just stay over here. It could get very, very expensive. In this case, honestly, I'm not sure it scales yet. We're learning that part. I'm asking the question every day though, and that's my primary focus. Can I make the same thing work across the org? Cool. This is a big one for startups. Don't work with startups that say they're a black box. They're a machine learning shop. They don't tell you anything about how their stuff works. They don't tell you what algorithms. They don't tell you what features are predictive. It's so important on the startup side and the company side to work together with the data scientists and us. Just as important is to work with the frontline employees to understand what they want. Yeah, and start slow. AI is a really and blockchain. It's something super exciting, super shiny. Everyone wants to work on it. Everyone wants to be involved. It's a really good way to kill a startup. I don't need the best place to start your company. I just need someone who really cares and will give me time. We'll make something cool, but if 10 different parts of your organization want to get involved, all of us are going to waste our time and lose a lot of money. All right, that's that. Do I have time for questions, or are we completely done? We have 5 minutes?